Hi. I wasn't planning on filming today, but current events are upsetting me, so here we are.
Violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree. Radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives.
His wife deserves to go too. Y'all keep on talking about his wife and kids. They need to go too because they're carrying on that mentality and that lineage. Like, get rid of the whole family. I'm so sorry. Why did you guys stop with him?
There were thousands of videos like that. Some of these people posting with their full names and faces, with hundreds and thousands of likes. Thousands of tweets celebrating it, with 500,000 likes. We may not be on the same page as our coworkers, classmates, friends, neighbors, doctors, when it comes to the issue of murder.
Messages written on the ammunition and the rifle itself that had anti-fascist transgender ideologies written all over them.
The shooter was right-wing. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not really hard to figure out. It's not really up in the air. It's not really a matter of opinion anymore. The guy was right-wing. In fact, he was very, very right-wing.
To the Groyper Army, the far-right Republicans weren't far-right enough. Charlie Kirk was a favorite target of the Groyper Army for not being conservative enough. For example, his support of Israel went against Groyper anti-Semitism. But of course, it's still unclear whether or not Robinson or whoever engraved those bullets is actually part of the Groyper Army, because a single song in a Spotify playlist isn't exactly damning evidence.
It's been a trying few weeks, ever since Charlie Kirk encountered his last day on film for everyone to see. The world seems to have been going completely insane. The line of the party currently in power is similar to what I expect the line will be once another party is in power. Our opponents are the problem. Everything they do is wrong. They aim only to hurt, only to spread evil, only to degrade society and create a world where only a very small portion of people can thrive. That's the line from both parties, and it has been for quite some time. We are all pointing at the opposite political party and saying, "The words you spoke caused this. You need to quiet down. You need to stop, and you need to let us take over." And forgive me if I don't think that's actually going to do anything. All it's actually going to do is accelerate this conflict and lead to more and more blood being spilled, which is what we're seeing so far. Even just since the Kirk shooting, we had an attack on a ICE office.
The evidence points to the fact that this individual very much hated our law enforcement. He was very radicalized. He was found with handwritten notes saying he wanted to bring terror and annihilation to ICE law enforcement, and also on the shell casings, it said anti-ICE on it. So we've seen a lot of this, the great demonization and hatred at our law enforcement.
And we also had an attack on an LDS church.
The man who police believe carried out this attack, and it does appear to be an attack, was a Marine Corps veteran and a family man. But take a look at what he's accused of doing. That is the church that he's accused of setting on fire before shooting congregants who were celebrating Sunday services.
One appears to have been perpetuated by a nihilist on the left, and the other appears to be perpetuated by an extremist on the right. I don't think it's actually sensible to blame any political party for this. It is not a political party's position that this ought to be done, though if you want to argue with me about that, feel free to do it in the comments. I am happy to engage. I'm happy to have my mind changed legitimately. It happens every day to one degree or another. But my problem is that I love all of you. I love the incredibly disturbed nihilists who eventually lash out, even though I really wish they wouldn't, and I wish they would get the care and the guidance they need to live productive lives. I love the extremists who act and react in ways that I entirely disapprove of, because I realize they are trying to act from a genuine, deep-seated belief in a way that they believe will improve our society. I love their passion. I love their energy, I love their commitment, and I wish we could acknowledge that and direct it towards a cause that would actually help us instead of playing out as petty attacks against the common people of our country. And of course, I love the ordinary people who just hate the violence, just want a decent economy, just want the right to live a life that's undisturbed with basic rights and basic dignity and basic respect from other people. Most of us, most Americans, we distrust nothing more than the government, and all we really want to do is live our lives in peace. But between social media and even mainstream media and their peculiar way of cherry-picking stories to cover and covering them from remarkably biased and one-sided angles, paint narratives that make the majority of us think that the majority of whatever party we're not are against us. And they're not. Some people are, and that number has increased precipitously since the execution of Charlie Kirk, and that terrifies me. It terrifies me because I won't pick a side. I do not think you are right. I will not join you. I am neither for you nor against you. I love you. And I love you even when you hate me personally. And I won't stop that just because we're confused right now. I won't stop that just because the narratives pervading our space blame the opposing party for every ill in the world. The ills in our world stem from the constriction of capital in a very small number of hands. That's it. That's all it is. Power, military might, and money are held by fewer and fewer people. And because fewer and fewer people have it, more and more people are poor, are scraping by, are struggling to get their healthcare needs met. And when all of these things happen, we blame the people who appear to be guilty. The media is telling us it's certain types of people. The media is telling us it's the people who vote for people who take our rights away. The media is telling us that it is illegal aliens who are exploiting the services that they can only get in very limited districts in the United States. We are being told it's minorities. We are being told it's the religious people. We are being told it is any group that can be identified aside from the people who actually hold the reins of power. The fact that most of us lack the necessary power to live happy, relaxed, fruitful lives where we don't have to fear being persecuted because no real harm will come to us even if people want us to suffer. That's not the fault of our neighbor. It's the fault of the structures of power that we are all subject to and will be subject to unless we unite and fight against that. Fight against the people keeping our wages low. Fight against the people forcing us to work 40, 60, 80 hours a week just to keep our homes. Fighting against the people who buy up more and more houses and turn them into profit monsters for private equity firms instead of being places where people live in peace. You're not my enemy. I'm not your enemy. Your neighbors are not your enemy. Those people who live in different states are not your enemy. People are distracting you from what we need to do if we want to live the lives that we deserve to live, if we want to know each other as the allies that we can potentially be. They don't want that. Of course they don't want that. As long as we're fighting amongst ourselves, everyone who actually has power can just sit back with popcorn and watch in utter amusement at what we're all going through. They're not hurt by it. Even in the last civil war that we fought, it was the poor men fighting to protect the rich men's slaves. People who owned slaves didn't have to fight to protect their slavery. It was the other people, the people who were told that the people in the North were fighting against their way of life. And they weren't. They were fighting against the way of life of people who owned plantations and made everyone else bow in service to them, whether they were slave or free. I can't take the lie anymore. I can't take the falsehood. I don't understand why we can't just acknowledge that the media is lying to us. The agitators are lying to us. Our tendency to try to blame someone near to us, someone we can see, is a defense mechanism cooked up to make sure that we actually tended to present threats, but we don't live in small tribes anymore. We live in a giant nation that stretches from one ocean to another, and our economy is spread between multiple countries all across the world. That is where power is. Money is the blood that keeps us alive or condemns us. Why are none of us fighting to get that for ourselves? Why are we fighting the people that they have cast as our competitors, even though they are our allies against this universal oppressor? The history of the world has been those with power persuading the people without power that that guy over there, not the person forcing people to act in service to them, is the problem. They're not the problem. I don't actually see a way to avoid civil war at this point, but I am intensely frustrated that when I point out that my Republican neighbors are not my enemies, they may lynch me. They are as vulnerable to propaganda as anyone, but they are not my true enemy. The people who put these ideas in their heads, the people who convince them they're persecuted and marginalized when they used to be well off, comfortable, safe and stable, those are my enemies. And I refuse to say anything beyond that, even as people on both sides tell me that I am very wrong, and of course it is the other side, and only the other side, that is the problem. These past 2 weeks I have been having the same exact conversation with people on both sides of the political aisle, each roundly blaming the other and refusing to look at anything they or people aligned with them might have done to produce the place that we are at. We believe the lies that make us feel justified, but we are not justified thereby. And I just wish we would learn better. I wish that we would stop seeing our brothers and our neighbors and our friends as our enemies and persecutors. We're all trying to live a better, healthier, wealthier, safer life. We often disagree on the way to attain that goal, but the basic goal of all of us is the same, and I wish all the rhetoric and all the stories that aim to blame various members of our population had never been spread. The problem was never the white man. The problem was the wealthy who flattered the white man and who stopped in recent years. The problem was never the black man. The problem was the slave seller who purchased him from a foreign land to sell in ours, to be subjugated systematically throughout the ages. We are living with those debts, with our fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers, and mothers, of course, that we refuse to blame despite their sins. And the last thing I want is for our blood to flow through the streets because of what they did, because of what they felt they had to do to survive in the wildly unequal society that we have tolerated as a species for entirely too long. You have as much dignity as every ruler who has ever lived. You are as valuable as any poet or songstress who has ever been adored. You alone contain all the the beauty and joy of our species. And the same is true for everyone you attack, every single one. I love you. But I can't stop you. I figure very few people will be here at this point, so I wanted to finish this with a reading from the Bible. Jeremiah 5. Let's do the King James Version, shall we? Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem, and see now, and know, and seek in the broad places thereof, if you can find a man, if there be any that executeth judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. And though they say, the Lord liveth, surely they swear falsely. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they are not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I said, surely these are poor, they are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord, nor the judgment of their God. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord, and the judgment of their God. But these have altogether broken the yoke, and burst the bonds. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Every one that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased. How shall I pardon thee for this? The children have forsaken me, and sworn by them that are no gods. When I had fed them to the full, they then committed adultery, and assembled themselves by troops in the harlots' houses. They were as fed horses in the morning, every one neighed after his neighbor's wife. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? And shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? Go ye upon her walls and destroy, but make not a full end. Take away her battlements, for they are not the Lord's. For the house of Israel and the house of Judah have dealt very treacherously against me, saith the Lord. They have belied the Lord, and said, it is not he. Neither shall evil come upon us, neither shall we see sword nor famine. And the prophets shall become wind, and the word is not in them. Thus shall it be done unto them. Wherefore thus saith the Lord God of hosts, because you speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Lo, I will bring a nation upon you from far, O house of Israel, saith the Lord. It is a mighty nation, it is an ancient nation, a nation whose language thou knowest not, neither understandeth what they say. Their quiver is as an open sepulchre, they are all mighty men. And they shall eat up thine harvest and thy bread, which thy sons and thy daughters should eat. They shall eat up thy flocks and thine herds. They shall eat up thy vines and thy fig trees. They shall impoverish thy fenced cities, wherein thou treadst with the sword. Nevertheless, in those days, saith the Lord, I will not make a full end with you. And it shall come to pass, when ye shall say, wherefore doth the Lord our God all these things unto us? Then shalt thou answer them, like as you have forsaken me, and served strange gods in your land, so shall you serve strangers in a land that is not yours. Declare this in the house of Jacob, and publish it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Fear ye not me, saith the Lord. Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand for the bound of the sea by a perpetual decree, that it cannot pass it? And though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail, though they roar, yet they cannot pass over it. But this people hath a revolting and a rebellious heart. They are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, let us now fear the Lord our God, that giveth the rain, both the former and the latter, in his season. He reserveth unto us the appointed weeks of the harvest. Your iniquities have turned away these things, and your sins have withholden good things from you. For among my people are found wicked men. They lay wait, as he that setteth snares. They set a trap, they catch men. As a cage is full of birds, so are their houses full of deceit. Therefore they are become great, and waxen rich. They are waxen fat, they shine, yea, they overpass the deeds of the wicked. They judge not the cause of the fatherless. Yet they prosper, and the right of the needy do they not judge. Shall I not visit for these things, saith the Lord? Shall not my soul be avenged on such a nation as this? A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so. And what will you do in the end thereof? So yeah, that's where we are. That's what's going on, and the fighting that's coming. You can blame God for it, I guess. He's punishing us for these sins, for not caring for the needy, for not being hospitable, and for blaming and shaming and attacking instead of loving and embracing our neighbors of all races, all creeds, all political devotions. And I'm with God on this one. I hope you are too. Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will.